Good morning. Vishalji, thank you very much for your kind words. Uh, I just keep on recalling a day which is like a great day for me in my life, which I think was 19th August, if I remember, 2023, where I got a very, very innocuous call from a deputy of Vishal. Sunil, you have a lifetime chance of meeting Jensen. He is in India. He has just met the Prime Minister today evening, and tomorrow he is in our Pune campus, and you have a chance to meet him, and we have something great idea, which possibly you with your data centers and power and everything what you do, possibly can be a great idea. And you can combine that, and you can build up a great story in India. Next day, I left all my meetings, and I went and met. Vishal was there, and Vishal introduced us to Jensen. And the idea was, ChatGPT is here. It has brought AI into the hands of every single consumer. It is no more a B2B story, it's a B2C story. And which other country than India who knows when it starts scaling up, what scale a B2C story can go? We are the ones who have got 1.4 billion people. We are the ones who have got 1.1 million people having mobile phones. We are the ones who have got more than 70 crore or 80 crore now, latest count, smartphones, which means any and everybody of us who is having a smartphone, we are creating and consuming content every single minute. So any and every app which you bring in, which brings some productivity, some value add to us in our lives at a good price point, we as Indians at our population scale will make that successful. The launch of and usage of UPI is a live example. The way we use our e-commerce is a live example. So if we start having AI-driven apps in India, which can help us in our day-to-day life, it is going to be phenomenally successful. And now, you have a lifetime chance to actually build that story in India. You have a chance to build that infrastructure to build this India's AI story. I actually caught on to that, and I think 3 months down the line, we were working with NVIDIA, and we brought in a couple of thousands of NVIDIA GPUs into the country. True to the promise given by Vishal and Jensen, they ensured that compared to anywhere in the world, they had huge, I think, 9 months wait for a NVIDIA H100 GPUs at that time. But they said, we want India, the country, to be successful in AI. It's a hugely promising country. They all have their own unique love for India. And they actually, true to the promise, gave a priority allocation to us compared to rest all the world and gave chips to us. By June 2024, I had gone live. It's 1 year now, maybe it's less than 1 month, looks like it's 1 year, but it's not even 1 year. And I've seen the whole market changing. From a stage where India was just doing a little bit of tweaking here and there into some Llama model, just plugging into some application, creating some web interface and doing something for enterprises. Practically a stage where no AI action was happening 1 year back. Practically when in India, there was no single H100 GPU in India. Today, we are at a stage which Vishal was talking about, that government has become hyperactive. They have created India AI mission. Government was thinking, okay, we will try to give money in the hands of the users and some proposals will come. Can you believe it? Government of India has received 239 proposals to create LLMs and SLMs for India. They were expecting 6 or 7 proposals over a period of 6 months. In less than 3 months, government has received. So much is the enthusiasm from startups and entrepreneurs and obviously the developers and researchers in India, that we all are vying for creating different use cases, different applications, different models for India. So that is the power which we always kept on saying, and I have been very vocal about in the last 1 year, that if we are able to bring anything in abundance in India, if we are able to bring a great technology in India at a very low price point, India will just adopt it at a hugely population scale. And I think we can see those signs very, very clearly. A GPU which was available at $3, $4 in the world just 1 year back, in India, because of our population scale, we already brought it to less than $2, and with government subsidizing it by more than 50%, the same GPU now is available to end users at less than $1. And now we will see the real adoption. You will see hundreds and hundreds of GPUs being made available to users through India AI mission. At the back end, people like us will be supplying it, and we'll see a huge innovation. The AI factories which Vishal is talking about being built in India and intelligence being produced in India. So in my presentation, I will quickly just run you through what we have built as Yotta, right? Not only just getting the GPUs in India, but what we are trying to build, the application and the services layer on the top of that, which can be useful for most of you who are trying to create AI-based applications. So this is what is our learning. I will be sharing what we have learned. I'm also a learner in this whole game for the last 1 year. What we have seen is that AI building applications of the model is not just one-time effort that you just build it and it's done, right? It is a continuous process. You have, or your customers have, a data. You actually cure that data, you manipulate that data, you process that data, you possibly take a existing model like a llama, you actually customize it, then you possibly use a test data to evaluate that model, you put guardrails on that, put it for inferencing, and once the inferencing is done, you again get fresh data, you again get fresh feedback, and you again start training the model, keep on making it better and better. So it is a continuous AI ops cycle which you have to keep on repeating to make it better and better. And that is why it is important that what you want is essentially, and that is what we are realizing in the last 1 year when we are talking to many, many startups like you, that a platform is required. Yes, I will bring in compute, I will bring thousands of GPUs, I'll bring in compute, but beyond compute, you want some sort of a platform which is helping you in managing this whole cycle, whether you are actually doing a learning and experimentation with some Jupyter notebooks type of an environment, whether you are having a development environment, whether you have got GPUs, whether you are then putting the model which you have fine-tuned into a inferencing cycle on a serverless model, all those things should be available on a single platform. The second thing, as I said, of course, is that given that India scale, we are not going to have 1 or 2 or 3 models. We'll have our own LLM, maybe multiples of them. We'll have horizontal models. We'll have very vertical specific models. And there'll be a lot of small language models. So we need, as India, hundreds and thousands of GPUs. By the way, if you see today's news in the, I think it's TV channels are flashing it, US is already exploring about removing those diffusion law rules on India. Possibly, we are all hoping that those restrictions which India was subjected to because India got classified into tier 2 country possibly may get removed, may get changed, and India will have access to GPUs, because I'm very sure 2 years, 3 years down the line, India will be seeing thousands and thousands of GPUs being used both for training as well as for inferencing. So India needs abundance of compute. Of course, anything in India is successful only when it runs on population scale and if only it's available to us at a very, very low price. A chat GPT paid account $20 will not work in India, right? It is good for 1 lakh people, 2 lakh people, 5 lakh people who can afford to pay that $20 per month. But the moment you bring it to $1 per month, right? We all know this is what we have seen in our broadband prepaid connections. We have seen it in so many of other things in our life. The moment you bring it to a $1, $2 range, a population scale adoption of AI use case will happen. So anything and everything we do, right, as service providers, we need to make sure that we deploy the technology at scale so that ultimately we are able to reduce the cost to the end user at a very, very affordable price point. And of course, the last point, I think Vishal was talking about it in great detail, and the government is very sensitive about it, right? Cloud was fine that you were putting your data into a cloud which was possibly not owned by Indians. But when you are talking about AI, you are talking about your raw data, your country's data, your enterprise data into a machine which is going to process your data and then going to give output. That output will be seen by many. So in AI, it is very, very important that the data resides in the country. And not only data, the machinery which processes the data, which essentially that AI infrastructure, the AI models, that has to be controlled by, governed by, operated by Indians. Very, very important. We have seen implications that AI is not just an economic growth tool. AI is a geopolitical weapon also. It can be put to good use. It can be put to bad use. It can lead to your country's isolation if you are dependent on others. So it's very, very important that India builds its own models. India builds its own applications. And that is why you would want to build your AI models in India on a sovereign cloud. So what we have done, I mean, the platform which we have created as Yotta is, we name it Shakti Cloud. And what we had done is that on the top of our GPUs, we have created a layer of services which helps you in basically running through this entire AI flywheel, right from giving you a dev environment, acquisition of data, curation of data, to then having access to the models, like, for example, how you get it on Hugging Face, and then basically customizing that model, testing that model, putting that model for inferencing on a serverless basis, and then obviously putting guardrails on the top of that. So we have tried to create a platform which helps you in this entire AI ops cycle. So essentially, yeah, this is what we have done. We have got now access to 16,000 plus of GPUs. We got H100s in the early stages. We got L40s in the early stages. Now that NVIDIA has launched B200s, we are soon going to bring B200s also. But India AI mission, you all must have heard that government got access to about 14,000 of GPUs from service providers. Almost 9,000 of those 14,000 GPUs have been provided by Yotta. And like again, yesterday you must have seen news, service providers, startups like Sarvam, Socket, GAN, Gyani, they all have been approved by government to build LLMs or SLMs in India. And the majority of those models, they were already being built on Shakti Cloud GPUs. And majority of those models will be running on Shakti Cloud. This entire GPU infrastructure which we have built is actually following something called NVIDIA's reference architecture. And that architecture essentially means that core component is that you have got InfiniBand connecting. So every GPU is connected to every other GPU through a high-speed network. Because when you are training a large model, these GPUs have to work as a single supercluster. And that is possible when you are connecting these GPUs together through a high-speed network. And that InfiniBand is there. And of course, you need a high-speed storage because data has to be fed to GPUs on a very, very fast speed so that GPUs can train, the algorithm can be trained. So we have put all those angles into this whole architecture. This, believe me, is like the best infrastructure, one of the best infrastructure in the world with this reference architecture. Even hyperscalers don't follow this architecture. And that is pretty much explains the reason of success, that why not only Indian customers, but global customers have come and started using this infrastructure. These are the services layer which we have created right on the top of our Shakti Cloud. And each of these services has got, some use case in that whole AI flywheel, right? The first, like bare metal clusters and VMs are the ones which are like giving you a raw compute capacity. And you can use this compute capacity to do whatever you want. You want to do training, you want to do inferencing, everything is possible. These are just bare metal available to you, just different sizes. Clusters can be thousands of GPUs together, right? Bare metal is like one single node you take with 8 GPUs, or you can have VM, which can be giving you as simple as one single GPU. And then after the first 3 nodes, then you have got labs and workspaces, which essentially universities and schools, for example, if they want to give access to a GPU to the students for training, without having to buy those costly boxes in the university's labs, they can simply access my GPUs, even a fraction of a GPU on a cloud model remotely. So every single student can have an account of its own, and universities can allocate the GPUs on a time division basis to different batches of students. So for example, 7 to 8 a.m. somebody will get access, 8 to 9 p.m. somebody else will get access, 9 to 10 somebody else will get access. So essentially colleges and schools and universities, everybody can actually have every single of the student having access to latest of GPUs by way of this AI lab type of product. And then the next 3 products are the next 3 or rather 4 products are relating to inferencing actually. And that is going to be the real bigger market, because once, let's say, you have trained the models, you fine-tuned the models, ultimately, why are you training the models? Why are you fine-tuning the models? Because ultimately, you want to put those models, you want to plug in them to some application, to some workflows to make use for some end purpose. And that is where the inferencing comes in. The last 4 services are essentially, the product which help you as a startup or you as an enterprise to deploy your models, whether you are using a ready-made model like a Llama, fine-tuning it, or whether you have built some grounds-up model. All those models can be deployed and then put to use. And the good part here, you are using a word called serverless here, essentially is that instead of, you are not sure how much successful your model would be, right? Especially in the initial phases. So you would want, and you will not want to pay for a GPU on a 24/7 basis. It's going to be very, very costly. So how you actually pay only based on the tokens consumed by you, or how you pay only based on the GPU seconds consumed by you, that is what essentially is the serverless component, that you put your model or you use some popular model and you only pay for the usage of the model in GPU second term or token terms. That is what the last 4 services are talking about. So these are some of the detailing. I will not do too much of detailing about it for the lack of time, but essentially bare metal, you get full node, so, and many of our, this large startup customers who are building models, they have just taken bare metals from us, NVIDIA H100 full node, which has got 8 GPUs with NVLink connecting to them, and they will just take a couple of them, and they can just keep on buying as much as they want. They can increase it, they can decrease it. Great option in case you know what to do, you just want a raw bare metal capacity connected to internet. It's a great capacity. The second one is clusters. Now, this is where the real action is happening right now when you are making LLM. So when a Sarvam, because Sarvam is talking publicly about it, so I'm using their word. So whether when Sarvam is, let's say today, saying that we will be making a LLM in India, right, of a large scale on the lines of a chat GPT, they will be using thousands and thousands of GPUs clustered together. And that is where this product will be used. Even right now, when they launched their first set of models, a couple of months back, all models were trained using these Kubernetes clusters. This is VM. This is a very good starting point for startups. If you want to have one VM, a single GPU itself is very, very powerful, one H100 GPU. So if you're a startup, you want to do a little bit of fine tuning on your model and then put that model for inferencing, create a very quick use case for your end enterprise customer and have some early success before you start migrating to larger bare metal cluster. This is a good starting point. You can have VMs with a single GPU, 2 GPU together, 4 GPU together. You can have VMs of different sizes. This is, I think, I think in today's context, one of the most exciting products for India, because in India, as we know, that we are producing millions and millions of engineers, but are those engineers really hands-on trained on AI? We all are learning quite a lot on YouTubes and LinkedIn's, but are we having hands-on training with the real high-powered GPUs? And this is the product which is actually helping, and we are actually giving it to along with government, we are reaching out to various schools and universities and research bodies and telling them that you don't need to create your own labs physically at your own campuses. You can just have a couple of GPUs from us. We create a virtualized environment on that. Every student start having its own workspace, which is like his own workstation as if it was physically available in their lab. And it is available at a very, very low price points on a per month basis. So just imagine the potential of this product, that every single engineering college student or every single student in a research institution get access to these GPUs and get themselves hands-on trained before they are put to industry for really building real good AI models for the country. This is a service which we have recently launched, along with our partner SimplySmart. SimplySmart is very successful inferencing services provider, right? Very, very motivated, enthusiastic startup founders. We have used their product and white label that. Put that into our GPUs so that people can use their product and underlying our GPUs are working. Essentially, what this product is giving you is that entire environment where you are able to, in a very simplified, intuitive workface, interface, you are able to access any of the models and then bring your own data and then train your model and put it for inferencing. And even if for inferencing you want to use RAGs, your own enterprise databases, you can connect to them and put them for inferencing in a very simple way. At the back end, our GPUs are running, for giving that inferencing, and you actually pay as a customer only and only for the GPU seconds time or the tokens which you are using. NVIDIA also has brought in a concept called NIMs. These are, again, nothing but containers which are containing all those popular models. Many of the models are open source models like Llama. Many of the models NVIDIA themselves have created. And what they are doing is they actually are taking those open source models, optimizing them to have the maximum throughput and maximum performance from the GPUs, and then launching them as NVIDIA NIMs. So these are essentially, again, models only, which can be put to use by you just like you're doing any other model, but these are like very, very performance optimized, highly tuned models which are available as NVIDIA NIMs. We have, as NVIDIA's partner, we have brought in all the NVIDIA NIMs into our Shakti Cloud platform. So for different use cases, whether speech or digital human, computer vision, biology, simulation, language, RAG, for all the use cases, these NIMs are available on our platform. And you can see that for all these use cases, there are all these models you can see. Many of these models you may be familiar with, but all these models are available on our marketplace. So for you to come and consume any of these models, and of course, use that SimplySmart platform to start fine-tuning these models and then plug into your applications. NVIDIA has also brought in a fantastic concept, and I think this will be the concept which I think Vishal also was talking about when we were talking about AI Factory. That at the end of the day, as an end startup or as an end enterprise, beyond a point, you are not bothered what is a GPU, what is a server, what is a model. You are interested in your end use case and application and workflow. That is what your customers are asking for. So NVIDIA is actually trying to help creating such workflows for very popular use cases. They call it blueprints. And these blueprints are nothing but essentially, a combination of multiple models and tools and workflows combined together to give you an output. And that output ultimately becomes an agent which you can deploy in your organization. And so these are like some of the workflows which are readily available. I think there are more than 30 workflows which are available on our Shakti Cloud platform. These are all developed by NVIDIA, which can be very, very quickly consumed to build your own enterprise AI applications. Yeah, and you can see, some of the use cases there. So some of these which are readily available, whether it is a digital human for customer service or extraction of information from a PDF, or drug discovery, or vulnerability assessment, customer service, video search. Video search is going to be a big thing. All these things can be very, very easily deployed because not only NVIDIA is providing the underlying models, but they're also giving you a complete blueprint to use these models and put them into a very quick enterprise application. This is something which is, I would say, very interesting, and we will be formally announcing it in the next few days. So we all know Microsoft is a leader along with OpenAI into the AI world, and they have been very, very successful. The most successful hyperscaler in the AI world is Microsoft. Their AI foundry with thousands and thousands of models is being used by many of you. And there was a challenge that how do we bring all those Microsoft capabilities in India in the Indian sovereign framework on Indian GPUs. They would have taken their own time to bring their own GPUs in India. So a thought was evolved between Microsoft and Yotta. Why don't we combine the expertise and capabilities of Yotta and Microsoft together? So we run Microsoft's AI Foundry, Microsoft model, Microsoft framework on the GPUs in India and have a single technological framework to deliver Microsoft best technology on the Indian GPUs hosted in Indian data centers. And that is where Azure AI services on Shakti Cloud got evolved. So any and every of the Azure services, including OpenAI, models, if your APIs you're using, in the next few days, we are right now on the final deployment stages with Microsoft on this. We'll start reaching out to market very soon. But essentially, net is any and every of Microsoft services, including their databases, including their models, including their applications, everything will be available in India, not running from Microsoft US, but also but actually running in India in the Indian data centers of Yotta on Indian GPUs. So all these services can be easily consumed, right? You can just log on to our Shakti Cloud portal. You can see the service, subscribe to the service, and obviously start building it. As simple as that. You'll have to bear with us. We are also a startup like you. Many of these things are work in progress. Many of time we feel our customers complain the experience is not exactly as good as a hyperscaler. Hyperscalers have done years of effort in building great experiences in their service layer. We are still building up, but I can promise you the underlying infrastructure of GPUs, the services layer, the platform layer are very, very strong, right? We are trying to build this great user layer for you to have a very, very smooth experience. But all these services are available and you can consume them. A whole lot of startups like you, and of course, enterprises and governments are using it on a large scale already. This is my last part, last two slides. So we have just to make sure that we are able to contribute in our own way, and I would say increase this market, the adoption of AI services. We launched 2 startup programs. One startup program in participation with NASSCOM and Telangana IT Mission. We call it Shambho. And second program, which we launched along with NVIDIA for their Inception program partners. We call that program as Rudra. These are the programs which essentially are giving credits to startups for building their AI use cases. These are all available on our website, so you can just search for Shambho or Rudra in our website and you'll get this. So essentially Shambho program, along with all the NASSCOM Deep Tech members and AI Foundry, they have 2 specific programs for AI Deep Tech startups. For all those startups, they are, I would say, you can see the fantastic the fantastic credits are available. Many startups are already using it. They are actually creating their AI models and applications. Many of their models are only referencing in our Shakti Cloud using these credits. And we are extending it for our more than 1 year. And this is a program for NVIDIA's Inception program. This program, actually, we are not only giving to NVIDIA's Indian startup, but many of the startups in the whole of Global South, including in Middle East, including in South Africa, including the whole of Africa. We are actually making these credits available, just trying to make sure that the AI ecosystem grows. Once you start using it, you use our credits. We'll be hoping that then you'll keep on building your commercial product on our GPUs. And that is the clear idea what we are trying to do. Thank you very much. I hope this talk was useful, and I'm available after this talk, and we can have a one-on-one chat. Thank you very much.